This is Jackie, and I am here with one of the leading and founding members of Couch the Band. Welcome. Where are you right now?
I'm in my car in a 7-Eleven parking lot. I've just left a very crucial pre-tour massage.
Oh, very nice. Self-care is important.
Yes.
Very important. Last week, you released your debut album, Big Talk. Tell me a little bit about the meaning behind the album name.
Yeah, so Big Talk is about finding groundedness and confidence and asserting yourself once you really have kind of figured out who you are. And that theme arises in the music, but it also is a relevant theme for us as a band. You know, we've been around since 2018, 2019. We've been touring throughout that time, putting out EPs and singles, and this is our first full-length project, and it feels like it's coming at this time where we've kind of figured out more about who we are and what we want to say, and we can say it with confidence.
Excellent. Does it feel like it's sort of been like brewing and brewing, and now it's the right time?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny that you use that word. The term "big talk" appears in our song "On the Wire," and we say "a big talk brews." It's one of the many ways that we interpret that phrase. Sometimes it's used to refer to the opposite of small talk and having a deep connection with someone. But in that instance, it's about having to have big, challenging conversations as a band.
Well, sometimes I know things. I'm a little only slightly telepathic. Talk about your song. How does your song "Middleman" encompass the vibe of the new album?
um, Middleman is definitely about asserting how you feel. Um, the story behind that song is that I was out with a friend, another bi friend of mine, and within one night of kind of um, going for the same guy, realizing that I was actually interested in her. Um, and the chorus is me kind of declaring that realization. And I think also, in addition to it being a bold declaration, that song encompasses big talk because it's about a very unique kind of friendship, you know, regardless of whether or not we shared feelings or attraction for one another. We had a really meaningful, authentic connection that could kind of exist in both platonic and romantic way. And to me, big talk is about more than just traditional relationship types, particularly more than just traditional romantic relationship types.
Was there a specific person or event? Well, yes, you said there was a specific event that sort of influenced the writing. Was that song born of a riff, a lyric, a bridge? How is that song kind of born?
So I believe our trumpet player Jeff brought in the original chord progression and groove. He listens to the most EDM out of anybody in the band, and that song was definitely heavily influenced by that genre. So I think he brought in the musical piece. And I had actually started writing a different song that I didn't think was well suited for Couch, about the same topic that used that language of cutting out the middleman in the hook. And when I heard Jeff's idea, I thought that maybe they could actually merge nicely.
Very cool. How do you now? There's five, six members. I couldn't keep track. How many members are in your band?
7.
Seven. How do you ensure that all members are being literally heard and figuratively when you collaborate on songs? Is there like a process? Does somebody start, or do you sort of all work together in the same room?
It varies song to song. Sometimes an idea will be born in a group setting, maybe in a rehearsal or even a sound check, and it'll be an accident, and everybody kind of weighs in live as it develops. And sometimes, like with one of the singles off the album, Slow Burn, it comes from one person. So that song was a chord progression and a melody, all from Danny Silverstein, our keyboard player. he shared it with me, and what he had created deeply inspired the narrative world that I wanted to bring to the song. Um, but yeah, in that instance, the idea originated with one person. And what's cool about that is, while we all have a lot of overlapping tastes, we also have varying tastes. And the kind of thing that Danny would make on his own um, is very different from the kind of thing that I would make on my own. And so he kind of got me to sing a melody I never would have written for myself that I ultimately really enjoy singing.
I was going to say, when you said EDM earlier, I would not have put that together. But I think that that's what's cool about having collaboration, right? Like you don't necessarily have that in your sort of wheelhouse, but somebody else does. So that's amazing. How do you go about selecting songs to release as singles, and which ones to sort of wait and see or test during performance?
Mm. Um, I mean, full transparency, I believe the first single that we released off this album was the single because it was the first song that was ready and we had a deadline. But we were also really passionate about that song and felt like it was a good representation of the music that the rest of the album that we were working on, and what was to come. Um, but yeah, I think beyond that, we think about um, what what can kind of stand alone. Some of these songs I think will require a little bit more careful listening, and you might have to listen to it in the right environment to really sink your teeth into it. And there are others that kind of hit you over the head and are hopefully a good time right off the bat. And we usually use that as a metric for what might make a good single.
And Middleman is autobiographical. Are all of your songs more autobiographical or fictional?
Um, all of them are autobiographical.
Do you think that it makes it easier or challenging when you perform them live?
For the most part, I don't feel uncomfortable performing deeply personal songs live. I think that I'm more comfortable doing that than I am speaking to an audience. Um, there have only been a few instances where I've written something in the safety and comfort of a band session and then gotten on stage and felt a surprising bit of discomfort or shyness about performing it. That's really only occurred actually with one song in particular. We have a song called I Wanted Summer with You off of our last EP, Sun Shower. And that's kind of the first song where I publicly shared that I was bi, even though it's pretty subtle. And when we started performing it live, I realized, like, oh, I'm kind of coming out to our audience every single time I perform this. And that made me feel a little shy.
So, would you say that there is more catharsis for you in the songwriting or the performing?
Ooh, wow, I have no idea. Maybe mostly in the songwriting, but I don't know. This is the first tour in a long time where we are performing a ton of new music, and that brings a lot of catharsis for us as well, I think. Like, it just feels so energizing and joyful.
That's wonderful. What do you hope your fans walk away with? Is there a message or is there a feeling that you hope they gain after listening to Big Talk?
Yeah, I hope that they feel um kind of the same things that I think it. Let me see. Like I said at the beginning, like for me, Big Talk is about feeling grounded in who you are and kind of speaking openly about who you are and what you believe in. And so I hope people walk away feeling empowered to do the same, and feeling enthusiasm and gratitude for the small but very meaningful things in their lives that are very easy to overlook when you're busy or distracted by media or over consumerism or whatever. Yeah, there are so many songs about taking time and being intentional with your time, giving it towards people that really mean a lot to you. And I hope that people want to do that after they listen to these songs.
Speaking of which, when you have new music out, how do you balance sharing that and kind of in a way advertising that, but also being authentic when it comes to your social media use?
Mm. I I'm honestly still trying to figure that out. Like, I don't love being on social media, and fortunately, I'm not the one running our social media. Um, but it does matter to me that we present as authentic. I think as much as possible, we try to share content that shows us working behind the scenes and shows us spending time together and creating. It's not really um, promotional. It's not really about trends or gimmicks. And I think that's kind of our best route right now.
So no choreographed dances. Got it.
Definitely not.
um, what role, or do you think there is a role in 2025 for music videos in like the long form anymore?
Oh, I was just talking to somebody about this. I enjoy watching music videos and I really appreciate the art form and the idea that you can be a musician, but also lean into other kinds of content making, and act and direct and all that in the form of a music video. However, I don't think people really watch music videos anymore. Um, and for us, we haven't made any because it doesn't feel like it's worth it financially. You sink so much time and money into making this art form that people will maybe watch once, maybe not even all the way through. Um, and there's a huge community of people who are avid YouTube users who maybe are more likely to stumble upon us that way. And it could be good for building our base in that way. But yeah, unfortunately, I feel like the short form videos on social media are cheaper and potentially more effective in that way.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, MTV at its during its heyday, right? Like Total Request Live. I'm totally showing my age. Oh my God. That was really before cell phones were ubiquitous. So it's like, how else were you going to find new music when the radio didn't play it? So yeah,
Yeah.
I think we're definitely there's a shift. I'm interested to see if the shift goes back now that MTV's been officially retired. I don't think so, but
Mhm.
there are people who spend now hundreds of dollars for like thrifted old camcorders. Like there's something to that, and I don't know if it's just the visual effect of the old cameras or something, but it'll be interesting to see where that goes in the next couple of years for sure.
Yeah.
Couch has had quite a bit of touring experience over your years. Do you prefer the sort of communal outdoor festival or a more intimate indoor club gig?
I like the balance. Doing that indoor kind of show, sometimes we find that people are just like more locked in and really ready to partake in whatever show we've built. But festivals, while sometimes grueling and exhausting and dirty, can be really fun and restorative. Playing while like the sun is setting over the stage is a really wonderful feeling, and fresh air and finding new people that way. That's really wonderful too.
And how would you say either of those experiences differ from your performance on live on CBS Saturday? Because I imagine that would be quite different. Is there even a
Yeah.
crowd? Do you get an audience?
So there was crew watching us, and we've actually done some morning television performances before where we were performing to an empty room and the cameras were robots, which I didn't know was a thing. But so that is maybe my least favorite environment to perform in. This felt a lot better having a crew around to kind of um, hype us up and applaud at the end of each take. But that was truly a unique experience as well. And I look forward to more TV opportunities because currently they're still pretty foreign to us and they still make me pretty nervous in a way that I don't feel on stage anymore. So I'd like to practice.
And I also hope we don't start having robots at music festivals because I think
I'm done.
I'm done about that. What are some of the benefits of being an independent band where you handle everything from writing, producing, managing? I can only fathom that it's also a ton of work, but I would bet also that there are some benefits. What are those?
Yeah. I mean, the benefit is that we're pretty autonomous. We don't have someone saying, hey, you need to post 5 TikToks today promoting your song. And we don't have someone saying, hey, we want you to write this kind of song. And so I think we're able to lead from a really creative, personal place, which I'm very grateful for. Um, it also means that we're kind of able to pay ourselves a little bit more by keeping the tasks internal. And that's really meaningful at a time when touring is just incredibly expensive and you can't really make money from people listening to your music. So there are a lot of benefits. I think we're still kind of in this world where we're happy being an independent band. Um, and just kind of flying by the seat of our pants at times, but also leading with a lot of really smart strategy, thanks to Zach Blankstein, who is our guitarist, but also our manager and also our tour manager. He's really business savvy and incredibly thoughtful, and like honestly has gotten us opportunities that I think some independent bands aren't given. And it's just because he's got a business plan and is a great person to work with.
Amazing. Speaking of touring, what's up next for the next couple of months for Couch?
Well, we're going on tour in a week. Our first show is in a week, which is crazy. And that's kind of gonna take us through the spring. We'll be on and off the road. Um, who knows? Maybe we'll start working on new music, but I don't think that's even on our minds yet. We're just really, really excited to bring this new album to people across the country and share our new music with them.
Excellent. Well, stay tuned for much more from Couch and be sure to check out Big Talk out right now. This is Jackie. Thanks to Chorus FM and In the Key of Change. Thank you so much.